Hello everyone! Welcome to the next part of our Minecraft command block video series. If you didn't catch the first part, go back to my YouTube channel and you can find it there. In short, what we're doing is we're making a Minecraft server that looks like a command block, and all the buttons have functions that do things in the server. In the last video, I also asked you guys for ideas in the comments section. I'm going to do the same thing here, because I'm not quite at the point where I'm ready to code in all of your ideas just yet. So I'm looking for inspiration from you guys on what these buttons should do. Got some exciting news today. The key switches arrived. We have 9 for one of the sides and then 7 for 3 other sides. Then we also got the PCB boards, all 4 of them. Excited to plug them in and try it out for the first time. Ooh, whoa, look at it, look at it go. Look at the colors. Which means we're ready for the next step. It's time to solder them together. Now, I've never soldered anything before, so don't judge me. Overall, I think I did a decent job. There are some spots here or there where I may have used a little too much, but in the end of the day, everything ended up working just fine. Before I started soldering, actually, I did a little bit of testing with the QMK firmware, because like I said in the previous video, that was a new world for me as well. I wanted to get my fingers into the code, try some things out. What I managed to do was, 1, make the lights light up like the same colors that we are looking for the command block. And 2, I was able to get some basic communication between keypad and a program running on my computer. I had to do a lot of research to find something that would work for my needs. And I saw this long discussion on one of the GitHub threads under the QMK firmware talking about HID communication, which, but without getting too technical, it's basically a way to communicate between any kind of hardware that you plug into your computer and the computer itself. Which is good because it also means that we can find some kind of Java library that someone has probably made that allows us to talk to our keyboards from the server. So what we'll be doing in a future video is making a plugin for our Minecraft server that communicates to the keyboards. Now we want to communicate between each keyboard because the front-facing keyboard, I want to have that control the lights and maybe a button for turning on and off the server in case if I need that as well. If everything goes according to plan, we should be able to just have one button on the front to change the RGB color animation for not just that keyboard, but all the keyboards at the same time so that everything's in sync. I'll also have buttons to change the hue and the saturation because I love all of the fun little animations that come with the QMK firmware. So to do that, I'll need some cables to plug them into my computer. I looked online at like Amazon and whatnot, and you can buy some, but they're kind of pricey. So instead I just went to the dollar store and got some really cheap ones. They came in lots of different colors. So I got a bunch of boring black. They didn't have a price. So I brought them up to the cashier and I said, excuse me, could you tell me how much these are? And no joke, with the most dead straight face she could conjure, she looked at me and said, "Everything is $1." Oh, I got wrecked. Of course it's $1. It's the dollar store. What was I thinking? I felt so stupid. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm feeling much better about the technicalities of the software behind the system, which was, if you recall from the last video, a big concern of mine. So let's push forward. Next up, I wanted to design the adhesive that I would use for the outside orangey pattern of the shell of the command block. My college campus offers this printing service open to students to make their own stickers that they put on like their water bottles or whatever. So I went over there and they requested just, standard 8.5 by 11 printer size paper. They offer a cheaper solution, which is just like some kind of sticker paper, and then they also offer a little more pricier vinyl adhesive. So I went with the vinyl option because it has a nicer look to it, even though it's just a little bit more expensive. However, putting one side per page felt a little wasteful. There was a lot of white space at the bottom. So I was able to condense it to just 4 pages by cutting 2 of the sides into half, the bottom side and the back side. I don't really see those anyway. As for the inner sections, I always thought it looked like some kind of inner sheet metal computer panel part. So I went to the hardware store and looked around at the various sheet metal options that they have. They were a bit out of my price range. Also, I didn't really have a way of cutting or folding the sheet metal. So we're gonna do something else for that. I then went to Hobby Lobby and I found some boards of wood that we will use to build the box itself. I got one board with 1/4 of an inch thickness and then one board with 1/8 of an inch thickness. Adding those together, it actually makes the exact size for 1 pixel of the entire shell. So this way we can actually stack the wood on top of each other to make those indentations that you see where the darker prints are. One of my old roommates helped me design and blueprint how we cut out the wood. And I also got this smart vinyl stuff. It was exactly the silver metallic-y look that I was going for. Okay, so the vinyl prints that I submitted to the printing service have been printed. So look at these. I'm very excited. They did come out a little darker than I was expecting, but that's okay. We're just gonna make do with what we have at this point. And we just cut them out on the cutter thing. Whatever it's called, the table cutter, paper cutter. We can now sketch the design for the command block box onto our wood so that we can cut out those pieces and glue them and file them down or whatever we need to do. I did make one small adjustment to the design. I made the size of the buttons a little bit bigger just to give them a little bit more of that push me look and feel. Just makes you want to just press the button. I don't know. So then it was time for cutting, sanding, sanding. Oh man, that took a lot longer than I was expecting it to take. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed at this point. I feel like I've made little to no progress. All I have is all these little wood pieces. I've invested a lot of time into this project as is already. I don't have much to show for it. I'm still unsure about some of the design for things, like how I'm gonna hold things together at the end of the day. I don't know, maybe if we just keep going, things will come together. Hopefully. So last episode, I was planning on getting a Raspberry Pi to host the server. Since I can't find any online, I had to throw that out the window and go with an alternative single board computer. So I was looking online and stumbled upon this website, HardKernel. They sell various single board computers, one of which has a lot of good reviews, called the Odroid N2 Plus. Looks like it's mainly built to be a gaming emulator, has a lower amount of RAM than I had liked, but at the same time seems like a decent option. So I'm gonna go with that. I also got one of the eMMC cards for storage because those are a little faster than your standard SD cards. We can boot off of that as well. A US charging cable and a cooling fan, just in case if things get too hot. But that's all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to send me those ideas of what these buttons should do on the Minecraft server down in the comments below. Until next time, take care everyone. Bye.